Hello, guys, and welcome to episode 58 of What If Civilization Started Over. In the last episode, we saw the beginning of a very major war. Technically, not the beginning, that was 2 episodes ago, but still, we saw the first actual action in this major war. Caribbean declared war on the Circle Alliance, and then some other alliances got involved, like the Diamonds. Um, and you can see the Diamonds, like, some nations have a diamond on them because they are part of the Diamond Alliance. Yeah. Alright, so they joined this war. Um, that's basically it. I don't remember what all else happened, so I'm gonna be honest on that. Alright, so we'll start off with the continuation of what I'm going to be calling the Great Atlantic War. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you do, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get started. So with Caribbean over here, um, last part, we had also mentioned how West Africa had made a landing up here, and America didn't like that West Africa had brought the war to their borders. So, what does America do? Well, they're going to join, they're not going to actually join with the Diamond Alliance, but they're going to join us up and side with Caribbean in this war. And this will even further badly impact the Circle Alliance. But when we come over here, we see another pretty not so good thing for the Circle Alliance. I really can't do that anymore. So, oops, wrong person. Or person. Wrong country. So Mesopotamia will be joining this war. And they're kind of just doing this because they want control over the Suez Canal. It does exist in this series. I figured that would be clear by now, but so they come over here and they're invading Egypt. They're really only going to focus on Egypt. However, they might go after other countries. Um, but they're not going to help out the Diamond Alliance. They're not going to help out the Circles, obviously. But very quickly, they're able to push through Egypt, and they are pretty much surrounding the capital and these major cities over here. They are the fifth strongest country in the world, so that definitely has an effect. Alright. Libya, they've just captured the Saharan country's capital, and dang it, and the only two other major cities they have aren't, are like on the brink of not being major cities. So pretty much Sahara's just going to collapse at this point. So yeah, they just surrender, which is very fun for Libya because now they have even bigger front. But we also see aid is now starting to finally arrive from the well, frankly, the fascist nations up north are the main ones aiding this, mostly being the Green Swiss country. And we see that mostly being them, as they also will actually make a small landing up here this in this Algerian part of the country. But we also see somebody else. Well, they're already in this war, but someone else is actually going to do probably the biggest blow, and that is Portugal here. They once had control over this. Well, they didn't have control over this area. They had control over land down here. They had colonies down there. But they want it back. And they're kind of mad that West Africa is here instead of them. So they take over quite a bit of coastline. And not too long after that, we see Caribbean will make a landing out here as well. the Circle Alliance is just not going good, are they? The one advantage they did have was down here, but Mozambique just like came out and said, or their president just came out and said, if we deal with Tanzania, we will leave this war. We know that we cannot win this war, so there's not really a point in fighting other than to take over Tanzania. And once they capture the capital of Tanzania, that's pretty much it. And the country's kind of split like this. Right there. Maybe. Alright, so Tanzania's split like this. And then the rest. That doesn't mean the rest of this. We'll go over to the Cielo country. Right. But now Mozambique is gonna get out of this war because they know there's no point in fighting it, which just kind of leaves the war up to the rest of the circles. Because I totally didn't forget what countries aren't in the circles. Alright. So you see this country here. Can't really have much colors for this country. But, they go through this blue country here, take it over pretty quickly. Once they capture the capital, similar story to Sahara, they'll also surrender. These guys here aren't in the war, or aren't in the circles, so they're also not going to be involved in the war. West Africa, they keep fighting, but they're pretty close to surrendering too. It doesn't go as well as the Circle Alliance was hoping. Initially, it was supposed to be like an pretty even match. Clearly, well, even match this. Libya will also now begin to invade Egypt, even though Libya is like 10 times weaker than Egypt, probably. But, yeah. Egypt pushes over here. Mesopotamia, however, will be the ones to capture all of these. So that's very fun for Mesopotamia and also very fun for Egypt. Once Mesopotamia has pushed down here along the borders of these countries, Egypt, what are you gonna do? Keep fighting? You're being invaded from literally every side. So Egypt, well, they'll keep fighting, but they really can't. The only two countries or there's only three countries in the Circle Alliance that are actually holding out right now, which is Guinea over here, this orange team, these guys technically, but they're not gonna last long at all, let's be honest. Then you have, oops. Then you have this, green Rio country. That's not really but I don't know, this green country here. But those are like the only countries that you have that are actually being able to hold out in this war. Alright, but now we are going to go to something a bit different. Well, you'll want to look at this first. But we're going to talk about something we haven't in a long while. The religion map. This is very not talked about recently. Last time we talked about it was just quite a few episodes ago. When we had the island survivor religion. talk. But we're gonna be coming up here. Green Switzerland just got a new, very nationalistic leader, and he's nationalistic of sorts in everything. His home city, which is the capital, the country, the province he's in, his religion, and well, he believes everybody should follow the Red Team religion, and that is part of why like these countries all kind of went out and colonized everything. And the red religion is pretty big, I guess. Not as big as the pink religion, but he wants to spread the red religion out. And how's he going to do that? Well, he's going to commit genocides, of course. So he's going to start genociding on the people of this red religion here, or of this pink religion here. All right, so we see Green Switzerland's doing these genocides. Um, well, actually, okay, yeah, here, okay, do that. All right, so he's doing these genocides in this, yeah, okay. He's doing these genocides in his country. This whole like religion that the pink religion is kind of based around the Mediterranean Sea. So like it doesn't really work out over here well, but they still figure out something. I don't know, but he does these genocides, and he only gets like this far. But he's killing like a lot of people, and for whatever odd reason, some people find this like appealing or something. I don't know, but yeah. So he's doing no stuff. All right. And then for the next event of the episode, we have just a couple countries are just going to switch ideologies. Honestly, there's nothing much going on in this episode except for the event we have just after this. So, countries that are becoming fascist. Let's look through them all. We have one country in the entire world will switch to fascism, and that is actually Myanmar. However, we do see not just one, but two countries switch to communism. I forgot to bet it's a monarchy. Well, guess what? No, they're not. Neither is this Gujarat nation, I heard people calling it. And also, one of the probably bigger ones that switches is Mozambique. And this one, they're like, even after deep digging, unlike in the other two, or in the other three, there weren't any, well, actually, Tibet is a different story. But unlike in Myanmar and Gujarat, Gujarat, I don't know how to pronounce it. Unlike those two here, there doesn't seem to be much influencing over here. People just have so much hatred for mainly Tanzania, but also pretty much everyone else up here, that they just went full communism mode. For Tibet, however, their monarch had just died, and I believe there was a similar thing to that went on over here, maybe, or somewhere else. It was with some other monarch nation, I think. But the monarch died in Tibet, and his son, or both of his sons, which were his only two sons, and only two kids, um, both of them were very soon after murdered. So they ended up doing a like an election for who the new monarch is, pretty much like a democracy for the new president, except it's a life term, and well, that person happened to be a communist, so that's how that worked. But actually, we do see one thing happening with Scandinavian socialism as well. It's spreading more into North America. All right, but those were the only changes to that layer. All right, and on the nukes layer, haven't talked about this in a while, have we? So first things first. Um, I think we did clear that all up, did we? Okay, we didn't. All right. Well, then. All right. So, at this point, all of the nuclear bombs that were ever dropped in the world at this point are pretty much gone. So, there. I know we haven't talked about that in a while, but they've probably been gone for a while, actually, too. So, all right. But we're more so here to talk about this. As well, firstly, these two have nukes. Caribbean didn't. But 2 plus 4 equals 7, according to Caribbean. 15. So Caribbean will create 7 nukes, just one more than these guys have. And nukes are going to start becoming another topic of discussion. And Caribbean is not the only country that makes nukes. However, countries are not making nukes anywhere close to as fast as they used to. The next country to create a nuke, and just a nuke, is Mesopotamia, and they are the only ones. Other countries are going to start researching nuclear development. A lot of nuclear technologies and stuff kind of got destroyed, but after starting to invade into West Africa, um, well, Serbia ended up actually capturing a nuclear arsenal right here that had one of the nukes, and they completely disassembled it, which actually means that for these guys, they're actually only at 3 nukes. Caribbean didn't give it back. Why would they? They're at war with them. Alright, but that will do it for today's episode of What If Civilization Started Over. If you enjoyed, I know this one was kind of short-ish, actually. But if you guys enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.